Hey everyone, welcome back to Pencils and Lipstick. This is episode 197, and I'm Kat Caldwell. And this week I have with me Katia. She works with MiblArt, and they are a book cover design company, and I've actually worked with them. So I'm really excited to have Katia come and talk to us about what she does over at MiblArt. Hi, Katia, how are you?
Hi, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I'm very excited about this podcast episode about book covers.
Yes, I am very excited too. This is something we know is important, but I haven't found a ton of information about it, and I find it difficult to decide on my book cover. So I'm excited to talk to you. Um, Before we get into that, would you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yes, of course. So, as you've heard, my name is Katia. I'm an account manager of MiblArt. It's a book cover design company that is based in Ukraine, and we provide such services for independent authors and publishers as book cover design, logo design, interior formatting, and marketing materials design. A little bit about me. I got the degree in China in business administration. So it was kind of cool. I found this job, which relates to my major as well. And what else about me? My biggest hobbies are graphic design. I like outdoor activities like hiking or diving if there is the
Oh,
sea.
really? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
And mm,
and you're quite well traveled then. So you studied, where did you grow up?
in Ukraine.
In Ukraine, and then you went to China for university.
Yeah, I know it's
Wow.
kind of crazy idea,
It
but
is.
actually our whole staff is from Ukraine
Okay.
at MiblArt.
Okay. And are you
And
guys in Ukraine now, or are you outside of Ukraine?
most of our staff is in Ukraine now,
Oh,
but I've
wow.
decided to leave the country because of the war.
Yeah.
And right now I'm in Poland. It's
Okay.
not so far from
Not too
Ukraine.
far. Okay. Is everyone okay though?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, that's terrible things happen in the world, and at the same time you have to keep working, which is like a lot to keep up with, I'm sure, and just like stressful. Um,
Yeah, but we got so much support from the indie authors
yeah.
community. We were like really overwhelmed, and it like in a good sense, and it really helped us to like keep working and like designing the covers because like this all the support, it kind of reminded us what we are like living for, working for.
Yeah.
So like yeah, we really appreciate it.
Oh, that's really good to hear. You never know, like if people care outside of their own bubble. So that's really good to hear. When did Mibble Art start? How old is it?
It turned 7 years this
Okay.
summer.
Okay.
So it started, my math is so bad, 2016?
Yeah, I'm not so great at math either. 7 years sounds good. Yeah, I guess 16. Okay, so you guys have survived COVID and now you're surviving the war. Like you
Yeah.
guys are going to be like veterans by the time hopefully settles down. So I think I'm not sure how I found Mibble. It must have been advertisement maybe. Do you guys advertise on social media? That might be how I found it.
Yeah. We have a marketing team who works on advertisement on social medias, and I myself post covers as well, and just like showing the works of our designers.
Yeah.
Like I need to like be honest, I really like browsing their portfolios every month and just sneaking what they're doing.
Yeah, you get like a sneak peek into everything. The one thing that really drew me to Mibble art, because I have worked, with quite a few different designers. I've redone covers on my books, so I don't have that many books, but I've redone them so the covers and figured that out as well. But one thing that drew me to Mibble art was like the you have the designer and then you have someone talking between you and the designer. So I think that's a good idea just for like personal feelings, like to stay professional because art is personal, right? Like both the writer and the designer is, maybe that's just me making that up. But also, you guys are so not offended when you ask like for something to be changed. And I think that's part of Mibble art is like you you don't have to accept the first or the second rendition. Like you just keep talking it through and trying to get it to be a really great cover. There's not like a limit, I guess, to
Yeah.
asking for tweaks, right?
Yes, you are absolutely right. And actually, this is one of the things why authors love working with MiblArt, because we provide unlimited revisions, so you
Yes.
can change it like how much time you want. And because, yeah, like we just want you to have the best results, so why not?
Yeah.
And right, as you said, we have project managers who deal with emails and like all these workflow questions, because we want our designers to be completely in creative field, and we don't want them to deal with emails like when is my cover is going to be ready, why you're not replying, or some other things, you know.
Right.
Um, yeah, so this really helps.
Yes, I think it's a really good idea. I have worked with designers through Fiverr before, and I think they have an issue where Fiverr makes them like respond within a certain amount of time, which I think puts a lot of pressure on them. And then it gets, not that they're bad designers, like they're good, but I think just that pressure on them like makes them have to work faster. And I just have really enjoyed the experience of like life happens to me and then life might happen to the designer. I also know to come well before I need the cover. Like I've learned that lesson. But just saying like, I'm sorry, I don't like that color, and the project manager being able to say, that's okay. I think for my first book, it was Nadia and she's like, that's okay. Well, like, let's try another one. Or I think I changed the font like 10 times because I couldn't
Yeah.
couldn't decide because it's hard. It's really hard. So what have you seen, as I mean, I could talk about what I find hard, but what have you seen in sort of between the author and there's this cover and there's genre to think about and trends and all that. What is the hardest thing to sort of decide when it comes to creating a cover?
For the authors or for the designer?
Well, let's go with the authors first.
For them, they have to understand the point of the book cover, because a
Mm,
lot of authors they think that a book cover just has to be pretty and that's all. And
okay.
unless I like it's okay, it's a pretty image with some text. However, they have to understand that the point of the book cover is to be the marketing tool. The cover has to sell your book. You're not a painter or an artist.
Yeah.
You are a writer. So it serves two goals: to sell your book, and of course, if it sells your book, it means that it's like an attractive cover and has good visuals. So some like authors who might want to try to design their own cover, who don't have any experience in book cover design or in general in graphic design, they might want to show too many things on the cover, like
Mm,
I want to show this and that, and then the cover becomes just overcluttered. Yes,
right.
maybe there are all the more important elements of their book, but the reader might not get the message. Like, what do you want from me?
Yeah,
Should I
yeah.
like
Like,
it or not?
yeah. Should I buy this book? What is this about? Like, why? Because we do judge a book by its cover, right? Even if the
Yes,
saying goes
totally.
not to. So we need to really see it more like a marketing tool more than um to our personal taste, I guess.
Yes, because also the taste of the author, it can be different from the target audience taste. If the
Yeah.
author thinks this choice is good, it might not resonate with the public, and they just might not feel that this is what they will like, and they will not buy it. This is like the bad thing. Another thing is if the author wants to publish a book just solely for themselves, for example, or it's a gift for someone, then I would say don't care about the cover, because as long
Mm,
as you like it. But if you want to turn it into a business, then you need to actually do your research, the market research, what genre demands, invest some money if you feel you don't have certain skills, and then you can see the profit from it.
yeah. Yeah, I do think that that's one thing many authors will eventually learn, that it's a business, right? Like it is a product.
Yeah.
It's an artistic business, but it is still a business. So we want the ideal reader to see, like, to be attracted to the cover, but not because it's pretty, but because calls forth like what the book might be about, right? Like that might interest me. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so like if it's Harry Potter, you're going to want to see a wand because you like reading about wizards. Or you might, maybe you haven't before, but that intrigues you. Like, or a thriller cover is going to have something, maybe blood or I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't write
right.
thrillers.
Yeah, it has to evoke some emotions.
Okay.
And yeah, different genres, they will evoke different emotions. If horror cover evokes warm affectionate feelings, then there is a problem. It's not
Yes.
your target audience.
Yes. This has happened to me actually when I was very young. I picked up a book thinking that it was something, and I got to the very end of the book and was like, I think that was a horror book. Like, I don't think that was not what I expected. And I was very confused the entire book. So you don't want that because I have no idea what that book even was or who the writer is. Because I was too confused. So does a author need to know these things before they come to MiblArt, or is there is there a way for them to find out through you guys? Like, do they need to know the genre and sort of the idea of the book cover before they, I guess, fill out the form?
They certainly have to know the genre because the designer will do the research on a certain genre.
Okay.
And we also assign this particular project to a designer who specializes in this genre. So we don't want to
Okay.
assign it to a wrong person. Not then they're not like specialists in graphic design, but like our designers, they have a couple of primarily genre they work in and also like secondary genres.
Okay.
I don't think there is a designer who can do the excellent job in every single genre because it's like different niches. It requires different kind of research for every single
Hmm.
genre. So yeah, the author has to be sure about the genre, but if they don't know what they want on the cover, then it's not a problem because it's actually the work for the designer. And
Oh, okay.
from here, there is the like dilemma.
Hmm.
What do you want? Like, do you want to give a complete freedom to your designer to design a cover, or you want to not do it and just do your research and come with the idea you have?
Okay. So you can come with both. You can come with, here's the genre, please figure it out. And you can come with, this is my idea specifically for the cover. Like, but what if they have the wrong idea for the cover?
You
What
mean
if,
designer or the
for the
author?
author? What if the author's like, I want to do a cart, like, I guess right now, rom-com and even a couple other genres are like very they're graphic instead of
Mm-hmm.
photos. Like what if they think that they want that sort of cover idea and um it's wrong for the genre?
Yeah, so here's the thing that we work with self-publishing authors and they come to us to have the work for hire.
Hmm.
So it's of course this is um, our work to advise them if the idea will not work. But by the end of the day, if the author is really believes in their idea, they really want this kind of cover, we have nothing to do but follow them.
Okay.
Because, yeah, I mean, the author has to be satisfied with the cover.
Sure.
Of course, we can consult them to explain why this certain idea will not work for this genre, why they shouldn't do it. But, some people, if they're like truly, like they really want it, we have nothing. We
What are
will
you gonna
just
do,
like do
right?
the work. Yes.
Right. They signed off on it, right? So then what about the designer? Do they find certain things difficult when it comes to book covers?
Certainly, there can be some difficulties. The first thing, if the author doesn't complete the creative brief very well,
Okay.
and then the designer just has to guess and read mind of the author. What did they mean by this and that? Especially for genres um, like fantasy or sci-fi. It's a fictional world. So, of course, if this universe is based on other famous fictional
Mm-hmm.
world, then it's kind of like understandable what they mean. But
Right.
if the designer is just created this universe solely from the imagination, then like please draw make these exotic plants or some like weapons which don't exist, then
Yeah.
how the designer know how it looks like? Then in this case, it's helpful when the author provides as many references as they have, so
Okay.
the designer have a better idea of this world the author has created.
Okay.
And in fact, in these genres like sci-fi or fantasy, it's common to have illustrations instead of photo manipulated covers because
Okay.
sometimes it's hard to create this detailed
Right.
imaginary worlds. And for other genres, I would rather say that it may make it hard for the designer to provoke some feelings. For, let's say, for horror cover, the cover has to
Mm.
bring like horror, like feelings of
Yeah.
horror. For romance covers, it has to be like really like people have to
Like
feel
cozy,
warm.
warm, right?
Yeah.
Like happily ever after. Yeah.
Yes, and if these genres they don't resonate with the designer like personally, maybe they will struggle to design the cover which will evoke these feelings in readers. Like
Yeah.
even if they have like I don't know tons of experience, they're like skilled graphic designers, artists, but if they don't feel they don't know how to evoke these feelings, then maybe it's not good for them to work in the genre, which is
Sure.
absolutely okay because we all have our own preferences, and this is also why we have a team of designers that we can have a wider spectrum of the services.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, no writer writes in every single genre, so it makes sense that people can't just design in every genre as well. Um, so when you are coming and you're filling out that form, you guys have quite a detailed form. So for every genre and for every author, would you recommend that they give as many details as they can, um, in order to make sure that the designer understands, I guess, where they're coming from and what the story is about?
Yes, I will definitely suggest it. When working with any designer, you just like yeah, you have to give as many details as possible because normally designers for independent authors they don't read the manuscripts. I guess you can find designers that do it, but it's like really rarely they do
That would
it.
be really rare, yeah. Who has that
Yeah,
time to like be reading as they're designing? That would,
and the price would be much higher
oh
for
yeah.
because you have to pay for them, like reading the book and stuff. But other scenarios, designers work with creative brief, so you really want to make sure that they understand the message of your book, the key events, the motifs that are brought up in this book. It will help them to create the cover, which will convey this message well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's it's interesting because the book cover as well. What I like about Mibble art is for my duology that the first one is coming up. I really, really liked what the designer came up with first, but no one that I asked understood what the genre was, and so I had to pass on that and ask them to create a new one. So I find it what I really appreciate, along with everything else that I've already said, is the allowing me the time to sort of like decide, like, I love this cover. I thought it was so pretty. It had like the boxing gloves because my character has boxing, but market research said like no one's going to pick up this book because they don't know what it is. And so I really appreciated the time that they gave, and I appreciated the time that the designer put into like coming up with this super creative cover and then doing it all again with me, and like that communication back and forth. And I just think that it reiterates what you're saying, like how important the communication is with them, how important their like creative design is, and how quickly like the designer came up with something else, and being more, and for me as the author to be more specific, and sort of to change my communications. So what I thought was very specific in the beginning, had to be changed because of market research, right? So like as
Yeah.
this goes through, you might have to like give even more information, which is good on the author's part. I just know as I talk to writers, um, a lot of writers hate writing up summaries about their books and hate writing like information, but all of you writers out there, you are going to have to do it because it will help your book cover become the perfect cover. So we talked about the mistakes and the difficulties that can come with cover designs, but I'm thinking as well. So I have quite a bit of experience living in Europe, and what I have found has changed. I don't know about Eastern Europe, but Western Europe especially, the book covers used to be very boring, like very bland. They were very much like one color, like almost block colors, and just the title. It was really hard to see there. And I'm talking like 20 years ago, so probably when you were a kid. But that has changed quite often, like in the last few years. So do you guys see a big difference between the different countries that you probably work with different indie authors in? And can you talk to us a little bit about what authors might expect when it comes to selling in different countries?
Yeah, of course. It's actually a very interesting topic because there are some not researches but articles on the internet how the US covers differ from the Europe and
Really?
other parts of the world. Yeah, and I mean the main explanation is again marketing and like what resonates with the people who live there
Mm,
because the cultures are different, the habits and like I don't know, everything is different. The style of clothing, what what news people listen to, what they watch, what they listen to, everything it creates the culture. So this is why the covers might be different. For
mhm.
example, if you say a dragon for American, they will just think of this flying creature that breathes fire. But if you say a dragon for Chinese person, they will imagine totally different thing, like this,
Yeah.
yeah, this like a snake, but this is a dragon for them. So for the covers as well, you said the covers in Europe looked boring. I can just explain this that life in Europe is really stable.
Mm,
Like now I'm staying in Poland for it's my second week here, and it's so different from other countries I went to. People just yeah, I can describe it with just stability, and everyone is so relaxed, just doing like they're working, going home and stuff, and they're just like chilling, enjoying life. It's not so chaotic as other countries I've been to. So maybe this is why the covers are more reserved
right, right.
and they're not so how to say this like not extravagant. I cannot pick up the word. Sorry, for my
Yeah,
English.
that might be. And American covers have become more detailed and more extra, and like the genre has really started to differentiate themselves in the last, I would say, 15 years. So like things have really changed in the US as well. Also think like reading habits might be different in Europe, where you can walk past a bookshop quite frequently, whereas an American has to drive to the bookshop and has like a specific amount of time that they're there. Like we're always, you know, have no time. I don't know why we self-impose this, we're constantly running around. And so maybe that also, like, we need to look at the cover and know right away and then buy it and then go home. I
Yeah,
feel like we're stressed in
it's
America.
an interesting point actually. And to add to this, in Europe, people use public transportation a lot, and I see many of them also read books in the metro, like a lot of them. So this is also could be the reason why the covers are not so I wouldn't say not eye-catching, but maybe a bit less striking than the covers in the US. It's just maybe people read more books in Europe. Actually, I don't have a research on that. It's interesting
Yeah,
to
I don't know
explore.
either. But it is interesting. And I have seen some in Spain, especially book covers used to be very difficult to differentiate, and now they're changing a little bit. Um where like you can really tell the difference between romance, historical fiction, you can specifically tell. It's more like photos, more of the time, right? Like the colors. Um and but fantasy is not as detailed, I would say, still. Like some covers in the fantasy or the science fiction world in America are just, they're gorgeous. But they're very intricate, they're very like, so would you advise American authors to use the same cover, or would you advise them to possibly get different covers for the other markets?
It I think for the start you have to focus on your on the market in the US if you are from the US, and if your book becomes it gets more recognition, then you can consider changing the cover. However, I'm not sure if this is possible with the Amazon KDP, because I was like researching this question as well, and I think it's not possible to have different covers for paperback and hardcover. It's only for ebook and one print. So I wouldn't say that this is the like good reason to have
Okay.
two covers, since you still want people to know that these two covers belong, that they are from by the same author. Unless the author becomes really famous, then they can be like a different edition of the book,
Oh
which
yeah.
will market the another geographical location. Then it would be possible.
Okay. All right. So we don't have to think like too much about that. Pretty much we want to focus on our biggest market, I guess you would say, wherever you're
Yes,
selling the most. Okay.
yes.
All right. Very cool. And I'm sure, like, I guess if you translate them, you have to translate the title most likely. I guess I haven't gotten into that, but I would assume that you have to translate the title at some point if you're doing a different language.
Yeah, and
Um,
you better to show it to native speakers as well, not only
yeah,
using Google Translate.
yeah. Oh, yes, please. Oh my gosh, that would be terrible, but it
It's
would be
not,
funny.
yeah, like some people, I think it's about the movies as well. Like they were translating movies in different languages, and in some countries, the name is totally different from the original, because for the local people, it means something completely, it means something else.
Yes, usually something vulgar, which you have
Uh,
to be very careful about, right? Like, I think one of the most famous in America, at least when you're taking marketing classes, is we have a car, it was a few years ago called Nova, because Nova is a kind of star, but in Spanish it means it doesn't go. So no va, it doesn't go,
uh-huh.
which is no good for a car, right? So they just
Oh my
had to
gosh.
figure out that like whole marketing issue there. So yes, definitely that, translations we could go into, but I would probably guess that once you've translated your book, that's a whole new ISBN number, and then you could change your cover at that point because it would be a new book if you wanted to. But like you had said before, like researching your market is probably a good idea, even if you don't, understand the language. Like being able to go in and chain and see the genres and see what is selling over there is probably your first thing that you want to do, right?
Yes, marketing research is very important, not only for a book cover, like in general, how you want to market your book. Because, of course, book cover can either break or make sales. This is the common saying, but marketing is essential for successful book
Right.
sales.
So you guys also do marketing. What is the word for it? So marketing, like
Materials,
promotional.
images. Mhm.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about what those are.
They are just images that authors can put on their social medias or websites. So we design, for example, cover reveal. It's
Okay.
to like spike the interest in the audience, like what's the cover is going to be. It's for the author to create like the whole event,
Yes.
doing the cover reveal. We also do release banners, which states when the book is going to be released. A plus content for Amazon to make
Okay.
your selling page look prettier. And we do animated covers, which is
Oh,
basically a video of the cover in movement, which is cool to upload for Instagram story, for example, from time to time. We also design bookmarks and add images, banners for Facebook groups or other social media groups. So,
Oh,
because again, as your book cover is the main marketing tool, you should use it everywhere, and because it will attract people
yeah.
to your book.
Yeah, and that's nice to know because a lot of authors were overwhelmed with all of the marketing things you need to do, and you have tools like Canva, but that doesn't mean we know how to use them, like, or to use like the colors properly, like I just find it amazing. My eye can't figure it out. Like the difference that a graphic designer can make in a post versus me is completely different, and it like just the colors, the fonts, and all of that. So that would be nice to be able to get that right with the book cover and everything, and then you don't have to worry about it. You can just upload it as much as you need to, I guess. Especially with
Yeah.
A+ content, like a lot of people have said, do not do A+ content unless you know how to do it. So if you guys need A+ content, probably contact MiblArt because I have not done it. I might have to do it with you guys because I've been told like 5 times, don't do it. It will actually ruin your book sales if you do it poorly. I don't know if you,
Yeah.
you think about that.
And the reason to this is when people see not quality in the work you show them, they will associate this quality with your story, with your writing. So this is very important to everything look as presentable as it can be, professional, so people will get the level, like the idea of the quality you offer to them.
Right. Ooh, that's true. I wouldn't want my graphic design efforts to be equal to my writing because that's definitely not what I want to invoke on people. So when we're coming up with our book cover, I have changed my book covers several times, especially with one particular book. Um, when when do you think an author has to start thinking about the changes in styles and fashion of the book industry? Like, do we have to think about changing our book covers? Do we not? What are your thoughts on that?
Um, y- yes.
Short
So
answer,
for the
yes.
cover, yeah, they should think about that. And I can see two bases when they can consider doing the book,
Okay.
let's say cover refresh. One is if the cover doesn't show any sales.
Mm,
And I mean, it's not necessarily the cover, of course. Maybe the author or their team failed in marketing or something wrong with the formatting or something. But since the cover is the main marketing tool, it can be the cause. So the author
mhm,
has to think again about target audience. Doesn't resonate with them, and is the message well read by the audience? Does it convey the genre? If they post this cover for the feedback, what is the feedback of the people? So they have to analyze it and always look at the numbers of sales. And then if the numbers are not good and they get a lot of negative feedback, maybe they can reconsider change the cover. And another thing is when the cover becomes outdated. It's
okay.
just like it's a great cover, but it served its purpose because we are
Mm,
living in a which is constantly changing, and we need to always adapt, apply get new strategies. Then also they can be a possibility of a cover redesign if the author, for example, follows the path of their peers. For example, people who
mhm,
write in the similar genre, they have the same target audience. They just if they see what they do, they see what is going on like in self-publishing world, what they see on the bookshelves, then they might also consider doing redesign. I mean, of course, they can always ask for professional opinion if they have some friends, book cover designers, or they contact MiblArt. We can
yes.
suggest if it's necessary or not. Um, so basically, yeah, like there are
Yeah.
two reasons.
Yeah. I have seen quite a few books, especially in the romance world, copy-ish Colleen Hoover's book covers at the moment, and I just wonder how long that will last because obviously they're trying to catch the eye of somebody who liked Colleen Hoover, and now, they will try this book. So that's always a gamble, right? Like if you're going to follow a trend, and how long it will last, I guess. You also have to think about Amazon and how they will change their rules. And romance used to have, like, especially in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, like the man would always have his bare chest. I don't know why. It's very strange because it's like Victorian historical romance and the man with no shirt on. It's very unhistorically correct, right? But then it got a little bit sexier, and then Amazon sort of changed their rules on that, and then all the poor romance writers had to change their covers. So you just have to keep up, I guess, with the times. And you guys also, though, have a newsletter that goes out, and you guys talk a lot about covers and what authors should look for. And you guys have a lot of tips about that. So
Yeah.
we will have the links in the show notes where people can go um, and get on that newsletter, because it's interesting that you guys have a newsletter. I'm always talking to authors to get their newsletter, so
Thank
they
you.
need to.
Well, this
But
is also one of the reasons why I love this company is because we not only offer the service, we also take a big part in educating people about book covers. As you mentioned, our newsletter, we also recently launched Mibble Academy. You
okay,
can see it like in the header on our website. There we publish some freebies and email courses. We also cooperate with other author services providers or influencers in the book publishing world. So we like try to generate this educational content. And this is also like why I'm here to talk about the covers, and I hope it's useful for
yeah.
people to know these
Yeah,
things.
absolutely. Absolutely. Like, this is, I think book covers are one of the places where authors should invest their money, right? Like there are things that we can do for free. Um, but this is a place that, like you have said a few times, like it is your marketing tool. It's your first stop where your reader sees that, and then they have to pick that book up to read the back, or click on it online to, read the summary. So what are the different offers that MiblArt has, as far as like what it might cost an author to invest in getting an ebook or a book cover or a hardback cover?
We have several packages. The different kind of services. The
Hmm.
first one is photo manipulated covers that is created out of stock images, and it costs 150 US dollars for an ebook and 200 USD dollars for ebook plus print. Other kind of covers, they're illustrated covers.
Okay.
It's either $200 for vector illustration, which is like common for rom-com and those cozy mystery books, or from $380 for getting an like illustrated artwork from our artists. And we also launched a premium package a couple of years ago. It's $700, but it includes the concepts and more heavy photo manipulation, 3D modeling, some digital
Wow.
drawing. So it's kind of a upgrade of our
Yeah.
best-selling photo manipulated package.
Oh, wow. That one might be especially interesting for people who have fans in a couple series, right? Where they want to sort of add new things, new additions, and wow, I did not know about that. I don't write in those genres, so I don't have to do
Yeah.
that. But I have to say, like I found the investment for Mibble Art and the way that you guys work, I'm so pleased with. But I think it's very doable. Like your prices are not unattainable. Like I think in the world of all the things we feel like we have to pay for, um, I think your prices are very spot on and very attainable for most authors.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I really like how you guys work. But you also said that you do book formatting. So is that like where you take the raw manuscript and you put it in and you format it to the entire, like the chapters and all of that?
Yeah, yeah. We have a formatter in the team. So we also provide the service interior formatting. And
Okay.
also we have a discount if you order interior formatting along with book cover. For the manipulated book cover, you get the 15% discount for the cover.
That might be worth it for people who don't, because I didn't know this. I should have checked this before. It takes a long time to format a book, y'all. If you haven't done it yet, it we're talking like time that you could be writing
Yeah,
that you
right.
don't
Like,
have to be formatting. And so many little things can go wrong on your formatting. I've heard many, many different horror stories. So just with formatting, what do people need to know? They just need the manuscript and what size the book would be, or what else?
yeah, like they need to tell us the publishing platform they're going to
Okay.
upload the book, so then we can begin working. By the way, forgot to say that
Mhm.
for the manipulated book covers, we don't require any deposit, so authors can just come, place the order for $0 and complete the creative brief and wait for the cover concept to be ready. But for interior formatting, we require a deposit. However, it's 100% refundable, so you are not losing anything.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. And for the interior, so I've seen some books where people, especially I think fantasy as well, are doing like the black and white, I guess, photos or something, some sort of illustration
Like
in
chapter
there.
headers.
Yes, chapter headers. That's what we're talking. So do you guys do those as well?
Yeah, yeah, we do this.
Oh, this is very interesting. The book world is changing. I cannot imagine that having happened. Although I guess when you were a kid, you would always look for the illustration, right? Like the
Yeah.
one illustration in the book. So we're bringing back the illustration. The chapter headers are very cool.
Well,
And
yeah,
again,
mm,
go
they
ahead.
help to like immerse the reader in the universe better, and
Yeah.
it just like looks like more aesthetic, unique, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's very cool. And it would be a fun thing to do, especially for maybe a special edition. Um, and if you don't have to do it yourself, writers, it's so much better. I know that we're not all made of money, but there are sometimes good exchanges between money and your time writing. And if you need, again, formatting can take a lot of time and you can actually make mistakes. So I sometimes think a third party, somebody outside of your work is better to do it because they're going to be, interestingly enough, more careful with your work than you will be yourself, which is weird because I know so many indie authors that have mistakenly uploaded double chapters. I'm not going to name any names here, me especially. And I don't know how it happens. Honestly, I do not know how it happens. I guess who knows? I have no idea. I just know I got an email from someone being like, I think there's a double chapter in your book. That's always fun to get. So we're going to recommend MiblArt for formatting as well. And we will have the links in the show notes below. Is there any other tip that you would like to leave with the writers before we close out the interview?
I would like to say that if you contact me, I can give you some discount for photo manipulated covers,
Ooh.
which cost $200 in our company. So, and also I would really appreciate if you listen to this podcast, let me know how was it. I love feedback, both positive and constructive negative. So you're welcome. And if you have any questions about the covers, I'm always happy to make things more clear for you and consult you if you need help with the cover idea or cover feedback.
Yeah,
So
it,
welcome.
because you get to see all of the behind the scenes, right? So you've probably seen more book covers than even writers have seen, because most
Yeah,
writers are
I mean,
just in their den.
I see them daily everywhere. Also, I have some background in graphic design, so this is really helps me in my job. I'm not a designer myself, but to be honest, like our designers are amazing. They have so much patience. I don't understand how they do it.
I don't either, but I really appreciate how they do it and how you
Yeah.
guys have that knowledge between the fonts. Like I've even asked my project manager questions about fonts. Like, I don't know, like here's what I've seen and what do you think about the font and what do you think about this? And her coming back and giving me advice. So you guys, I like the open conversation, where I can ask questions because writers are not always experts, but you guys are more the experts on the book cover. So we will have your social media links below in the show notes, so you guys can follow Katia and you can ask her questions. And for MiblArt as well, just watching the different book covers that MiblArt comes out with is really fun as well. It might help you with your cover research. So thank you so much, Katia, for coming on and talking to us.
Thank you for hosting this podcast.